keep working that. All you're going to do is get stronger. Once you kind of get better, you immediately think, well, I'm done with that, carry on. That's only half of it as well, guys. So then the next bit is the transition. Yo, what's going on, guys? Rhys here from More Than Lifting with the More Than Lifting podcast. Conversations about calisthenics, bodyweight training, gymnastics, all that good stuff. I'm Rhys, a personal trainer from the UK and founder of morethanlifting.com. And in this episode, we're going to be talking about my training targets, the 100 push-up challenge, and all the stuff that all the training I need to catch up on, basically, since my injury and my holiday, because I'm a lazy bastard, and I've got some big lofty goals that I want to hit by the end of the year, and so that's what we're going to be talking about. So like I mentioned in the last episode, I've lost weight, and that sucks because I don't have a high percentage of body fat, so any weight that I lose is muscle, basically, which is the worst. It is the worst. So loads of training, especially with the 100 push-up challenge, all right? And if you guys have been following the 100 push-up challenge this year, then already we're doing like tornado push-ups, like 360 push-ups, stuff like that. We're doing ring supported push-ups. We've done some like wall supported handstand push-ups, and these are all 20s. You know what I mean? We're not just doing 10 reps or 5 reps. You know, like we're doing 20 reps. It's a high volume. You know, so it's not light work. And by the end of the year, if you've been keeping up with the 100 push-up challenge, you know the target is 90-degree push-ups, planche push-ups, full body plyos, handstand push-ups, and one-arm push-ups. That is week 52, the end of the year, and we're approaching that pretty bloody fast. Basically, we're in the last quarter, and so I've got to do some training. Basically, I've got loads to catch up on. So that's what we're going to talk about. So the first one is learning planche push-ups. Okay, this is the first worry, like big fear I've got, because of my injury, because I have my wrist problems, my extensors, and I couldn't handstand for months. I couldn't do any training for months. Like my planche is virtually non-existent, which is like, it's embarrassing for me, because like when you lose a skill, it just sucks, you know. And it's not the first time I've lost the planche. And what does that mean? That means when I've got the planche, I haven't put enough work in to like just carve it into my muscles, you know what I mean? So that just shows that I've kind of achieved a planche and then just done it a bit and left it and not worked on really mastering the skill. All right, and that's what you got to do to be able to maintain a skill like that, like a front lever, like a muscle up. You know, it's got to be there. You got to learn the technique perfectly. You got to learn the muscle coordination, the neuromuscular connection perfectly. That movement pattern, you know, that hold, it's got to be carved into your brain. So that's a mission, because I got planche push-ups to do. My planche skill is, like I say, is not looking too sexy, and so that's bad times. So we know the structure. We know how the training works. All right, unless you're new to the podcast, you know how my training works. Yeah, you do your strength training, build the strength, then you do a strength cycle. To build the strength, then you do a skill cycle to convert that new muscle power, that new strength that you've built into control. Yeah, rather than just a bunch of potential, you're actually learning to use it. You're building the connection, the neuromuscular connection, so that you can actually apply that new strength into a skill, to learn a new skill. In this case, master my planche. Yeah, so that planche has to come before I can do planche push-ups. If I can't do a planche, I can't do planche push-ups. It's just like the planche is a prerequisite, and that's a skill. So that means I need to get strong. I need to do a strength cycle and a skill cycle, and then learn 20 planche push-ups, which is a lot. So, you know, I'm kind of stressing out about that, actually. Now I put that's like 3 sets of 4 cycles, which, like, we already don't have enough time for that. So I need to get a bit creative with this and a bit more hardcore, I think. So then the planche push-ups, that's the strength that you learn after you've acquired that skill. So the planche, like I said, is a prerequisite to the planche push-ups. There are other exercises you can do as well, like you can get good at your elbow levers and start doing like little mini rep kind of plyos and stuff. You can start doing like tuck planche push-ups, or like do them on a dipping bar and stuff like that, so you can get like a little bit lower and your knees don't hit the floor, so you can get lower in your tuck planche. So there are other things that I can be doing as well, and some of them, like those tuck planche push-ups, they're in the 100 push-up challenge too, coming up soon. So like it's not like I'm not going to be doing that. But the overarching kind of breakdown of the training for the next, like closing out this year, is like a strength cycle where I'm working on like dynamic progressions pretty much for like the planche, and then I'm working on isometric like control of the planche, and then just before the end of the year, before week 52, I've got to suddenly turn that into 20 push-up reps. So that's only half of it as well, guys. Don't think, oh yeah, you might just about manage that. Like, that's only half of it. The other half is the other skill, is 90-degree push-ups. I got to learn to do 90-degree push-ups as well. So, fuck. So it's not just learning planche push-ups, 90-degree push-ups too. And 90-degree push-ups is where you go from a handstand into an elbow lever or a bent arm planche, and then back up into a handstand. That's your 90-degree push-up. And I gotta hit 20 of them too. So how does that break down? So you got your handstand and you got your elbow lever, like the two isometrics at either end of the rep. And then you've got, first, during that kind of strength cycle, I can work on that. Like, that's the initial skills that you need to have before you can even think about working on 90-degree push-ups. All right, then going into strength, so I can do them. Like, that's okay. I'll probably have to do more training on just working that elbow lever, so my technique's really good and my strength in that position's really good, ready for more dynamic exercises. But like, I can do both of them. That's okay. You know, I can do an elbow lever and I can do a handstand. So that's kind of where I am now, if you like. Although, like, the elbow lever could probably do work, and so could the handstand. So then the next bit is the transition. Yeah, is the transition from, and basically, because it's a two-way rep. Yeah, it's a dynamic skill. You're going down and then you're going up. So the up really is the hard part, where you're pushing against gravity, the concentric. So the negative, the eccentric, is really coming down. So from a handstand to an elbow lever, that transition is like a negative 90-degree push-up. So that's one thing that I could be doing now as a strength exercise, as a progression for those skills. So what I could try and do, and handstand push-ups, obviously, because that's like the first half of the rep and the last half of the rep. It's like the two quarters, sorry. It's the first quarter of the rep and the last quarter of the rep. Yeah, and those 2 points are key, because if you can't push back up straight, then you won't get back into a handstand, you'll come down. So you won't do 20 reps, you'll do one, or kind of one. Yeah, so that's really important too. And in handstand push-ups, we all know that top bit is really important, because if you lose it, then you're gone. You know, so you need a lot of strength right at the top, a lot of stability in your handstand to really be able to go, especially if you're doing good like technique, good form, proper range of motion, where you're straightening your arms and then you're coming down and then going back up to straight arm as well. And that's not easy, you know, so I'm not just dismissing that like, well, of course you do that, because that takes time as well, and it takes discipline. So, okay, so that's a bit of a relief. So if I'm working those two then in my strength cycle, then that's cool. You know, I can work on, I'm working those, and then by the time it comes to the skill cycle in a couple of weeks, hopefully I'll be good enough with them that I can start transitioning that into the skill. So like some other progression ideas for between that, to transition that from into a skill, what I was thinking, check this out, is going from an elbow lever to a handstand. So that's like the hard part then coming back, isn't it? That's the hardest bit. So another exercise, because I was thinking before recording this podcast, I was like, what else can I do in that? You know, because I haven't really thought about it, because I've been injured, and I've just been like, I'll deal with it later. So I was thinking, you know, how could I work that? That concentric, the push movement. So what I was thinking, pretty smart, right, is go from an elbow lever. So get down, get in my elbow lever, be cozy, and then go to like a headstand, and then push out into the handstand, because a headstand kind of press up to a handstand isn't too difficult if your handstand's all right, and if you're kind of strong enough just to push quick, and it doesn't take that much strength really, I don't think. So yeah, that one's all right. That might work quite nicely as a way just to, because the thing is, you're basically you either have to completely arch your back and like scorpion it, for fail fans out there. You have to proper scorpion it, or the other alternative is you have to kind of go from the elbow lever to like a shoulder stand almost, and then press vertical, and there you're kind of two options. And really it should be more of the former, like the first one, but without the scorpion. It should be kind of nice and straight, like obviously ideal world, but come on, 20 reps, like it's going to get pretty sloppy by the end, isn't it? So I think working that will help me kind of get used to being in the elbow lever, then pushing up and out, lifting with my shoulders and getting my legs in the air above me and getting my hips high as well. And so maybe I can mix that in with my strength cycle now, which will help me prepare for week 52. So that's a bit of an insight into how I work out the training, by the way. This is how I'll break down skills. This is how I think about how I can learn certain elements of skills, and how I plan out my training according to my goals. And if you guys aren't already involved with the 100 push-up challenge, go to morethanlifting.com/100 challenge, and that'll take you to the main page. You see like the latest ones out there and that, and it's really interesting. And join up. It's not too late. You might have to kind of start from the beginning and work your way through, but that's okay. Like, other people are doing that. It's not just you, and it's not the end of the world. If you're feeling a bit advanced, if you feel like you can take the challenge, then just join in where we are, and I'll see you at the finish line. If you want, you can borrow my training plan that I've just laid out in this podcast to tackle the 90-degree push-up and planche push-ups within the time frame as well, because we are fast approaching the end of the year. Guys, a bit of a short one, I guess, really, isn't it? My wrist's doing a lot better. Like I say, I'm still doing my extensor exercises though, and this is an important thing. After you're injured, once you kind of get better, you immediately think, well, I'm done with that, carry on. But that's not the case. It's good to keep doing your rehab work, your exercises to help strengthen up that whatever part of your body was injured, because you might think that you're all right now just because you're feeling a little better, but it is still going to be delicate. And if you just go straight back into it, 100% guns blazing, then you'll likely injure that again, or it won't ever recover properly, and then you'll always have a niggly little problem, and it will suck. Yeah, so don't do that shit. Just let it heal and keep working that. All you're going to do is get it stronger. That's all that's going to happen. It's not going to get worse by doing the rehab exercises, and it's not that bigger. It's not such a hindrance either. Often the exercises are really simple. Maybe you got one of those really wide physio type resistance bands. Do it in front of the TV. Like, it's relaxing. You chill out. Do you know what I mean? You watch that new Maniac thing that's on Netflix, and that's it. So, guys, speaking of that's it, that is it for this episode. As always, first off, go and join up the 100 push-up challenge. All right, then second, I know I said I wouldn't mention it again, but just in case, go to morethanlifting.com/beta and join up to the beta membership, where I'm putting in a new program every month and just bringing in loads of people to test a couple of programs basically over the next kind of however long. I'm not just going to have you keep paying afterwards, by the way, guys. When I finish doing the programs, I'll let you know, and we'll just stop it for however long and then jump back in a couple of months or a year or whatever. It's not like I'm just going to have you paying forever and not put new shit in, because that's unethical. So I've completely lost my train of thought now. Yeah, guys, that's it. As always, give us a like, subscribe, an honest 5-star rating and review, wink wink, and share us with your mates, training partners, anyone else who might kind of benefit from this information, learn to do some basic push-up variations. And otherwise I'll catch you in the next episode in a couple of days. As always, keep in touch with yourself, and I'll speak to you then. Oh shit, and if you got any questions or comments or whatever, just reach out to me at morethanlifting everywhere. Best place is a DM on Instagram. I'll catch you soon.